Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming in. It may be late for some of you, it's your personal time, but we can never find the right time for everyone. Um from the previous cohorts, I was getting feedback that it would be good to do these kinds of sessions on the weekends because weekdays are crazy, people work different hours. But Lakshmi wasn't available over the weekend, and then I took a poll, and again, the poll was a little distributed, but the majority was Monday, so we're going with Monday, and for the others, we will share the recording. Uh, some of these people today are in the midst of cohort 5, the challenge, and most others have finished the challenge, but I extend the invite every month to all cohorts. It's always good to hear from people who've been on LinkedIn, to hear their journeys and what worked for them, how did the mindsets shift, and that's the biggest part of it, right? It's the mindset shift that we want to enable for everyone. After that, I'm seeing some of the fantastic writings from my previous cohort members. They've kind of gone far ahead of every other person that I would have admired, in terms of content on LinkedIn. And that's all we are here for, to kind of shift the mindset. Um, Let me do a quick introduction of Lakshmi, which is a cut copy paste from her LinkedIn. That's the best way to bring out the intro. And Lakshmi, I'm sure that is updated. But if there's anything else that you would like to add, please go ahead and do
Sure,
that.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let me also tell you how I met Lakshmi. Right. So Lakshmi and I were speaking at the regional Scrum conference last year, and I think it was just a chance encounter because we both met at lunch and we kept connected. And that's the best part of LinkedIn. It helps us stay connected with people that we meet um, at random places. And over the last 6 months, July, it was for 6 months, we've bumped into each other for different events. She's come and attended some of my events. We stayed connected on LinkedIn. We've been writing on each other's posts. We've been on some podcasts, the same podcast. She's been a guest on Prem's podcast and all of that. And I've loved her writing. Her storytelling skills are amazing. Despite the fact she came and attended my storytelling workshop, but I just admire her posts. I hope some of you connected with her already on LinkedIn and have gone through her writing. And some of her posts are really, really nice. Okay, please mute yourselves. I'm muting everyone here. And I thought, okay, let's hear from Lakshmi this month. So let me get started. So she is obviously on a mission to help companies stay agile in an AI first world, basically to build resilient systems without losing their soul. She's an independent agile coach and transformation partner. She works with startups and mid-tier tech companies as they scale, pivot, or redefine their edge. She's got 30 plus years in the IT industry, which has spanned across product engineering, quality, and customer success. And she brings a systems level view with a human centered mindset. This was very interesting. Some say she's an agile whisperer, and we'll ask her why she gets called that. But she says she gets called in teams when the mission is messy, timelines are melting, and product or project dreams risk staying dreams. So she embeds quietly, identifies the invisible blockers, she brings clarity to chaos, and then she ignites the teams into sustainable velocity. And then she hands it off, just as internal champions rise. No fluff, no long term dependencies, just sharp, quiet impact when it matters most. And I think that's probably why she's a whisperer, right? She comes in, tells you something, gets everyone to do stuff, and then she moves out. And I think that's the best part of a coach. Uh, Whatever you're coaching anybody on, I think you just need to kind of build in those nudges, get them to do some deep reflections, and then they are on their own and they get better than us. She also supports board level decision making. She's looking to be an independent director, largely in companies which prioritize ESG, responsible growth, and organizational renewal. She's a certified business responsibility and sustainability reporting professional, and she is a registered independent director with the NCA. She brings both technical depth and governance maturity to the table. Whether coaching from the outside in or contributing in the boardroom, she thrives on building cultures that don't survive change but shape it. So, with this beautiful introduction, Let me start by saying, of course, Lakshmi is aware that now we are running the fifth cohort of the LinkedIn Writing Mindset Challenge. Lakshmi also participated in our Mindset Summit. Uh, and the fact that we are running the fifth cohort itself tells us that there are innumerable number of people having mindset blocks to appear on LinkedIn. And that was the premise for me to start LWMC, as I call it in short. The belief that before someone can write authentically, something must shift inside. Looking back at your own journey, Lakshmi, what mindset shift helped you move from just having thoughts and then saying, let me share them publicly?
Great. So, first of all, thanks a lot, Nija, for that introduction. And I think there are no coincidences, I believe. And it was kind of, uh, I think, a master plan that we met at RSG. And so I like to call it soul community, right? So after a point you start creating your soul community, people, kindred souls. And the story in your keynote, the storytelling, that was just mind blowing. And then the sneha the next day, and the last shoe, and the previous day the tair sadam that you started with, etched in memory. So I wouldn't miss any of your storytelling workshops. That's the reason I came in again for the next one. So I think beautiful. I really consider that one of the highlights of 2025, that I met you. So thanks a lot. And it's just amazing that these cohorts are running, and the summit itself was, it was like a sublime, transformation space. Like it was all voices just, chiming in. So thanks a lot for that. Right. So now going back to the question, right? So as you have, I think this has been shared. I heard this in the summit as well. So writing, it comes later, right? It's about the what happens in your mind. So it is a mindset shift. Like writing is actually the last phase. But what internally happens, what is the paradigm shift, and what is your philosophy? In my case, I would say, more of the philosophy of life, right? So that itself went through a transformation. When it comes to sharing, storytelling, it kind of, the source goes pretty deep, in my case, where I feel that each of us uh, is a unique voice of the universe. Each of us, it's not even about writing as such, but what we are. So I believe that each one of us is the universe's urge to express itself in that unique form and in that unique view. So it's a fundamental philosophy of life that each one of us is actually the universe in expression. And to not recognize that, that is actually a deviation. If we don't express yourself, that is a deviation. So if you come from that paradigm, then expression is very natural, because we were all born to express. We are all unique tunes that the universe wants to sing. And no two voices are similar, no two tunes are similar, and the universe is not complete without your voice. So when you come from that perspective, then expression of any form is a very natural next step. It's not something forced, it's something that has been ordained and it should happen. So that was a deep internalizing, which that was the realization, saying whatever the medium, there are certain mediums offered to you. There may be in person, writing, speaking. That is something that you're following the universe's plan. And your unique persona, the way you write, the kind of stories you want to share, all of them represent that unique, beautiful picture that the universe wants to paint. So that was the mind shift in looking at the larger picture. That's what I would say.
That was beautiful. You kind of saying the universe wants us to do, so let's do it. I mean, just a kind of submission to that fact.
Correct.
And when you are accepting that or agreeing to that, then nothing really worries and bothers you, right?
Yes.
Whoever says whatever, I don't care. There's a
Yes.
larger force which
Yeah.
believes that I need to be there and I need to do
Yes.
certain things, and hence I
Yes.
should. Fantastic. Okay. Does anyone resonate with that? Has anyone got any thoughts around
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. This happens to me so often. I keep getting nudges to do stuff, and when I don't do it, it becomes an itch I have to scratch
Yeah.
till I do it. Okay. So that becomes a dominating thought in my head, and I have to do it. And once I do it, I'm like, "Ah, okay." And then, I might not even see the purpose behind what I'm doing now.
Yes.
Sometimes it's the next day, sometimes it's a week later, sometimes it's a few months later when I've even forgotten I took this action. And then I'd
Yes.
be like, oh, yeah, that day I did this, and I'm seeing the results now.
Absolutely.
So now
I
I'm
must say,
now, after fighting this now for the last, I think, few years, I'm at a space now where I get the nudge and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. Which is why I signed up for this workshop as well.
And we are so glad to have you
I
here.
was about to say that actually, linking to how I ended up in Nirja's cohort. Like the moment I saw, it's like I felt like I have to be here. Something actually pushed me, and I just pinged her, and everything happened. Just it followed that chain.
Yeah. Absolutely. You were meant to be.
Yeah.
So the universe will provide you the
Yes.
right community, the right mentor like Nirja. It will provide you everything. It just wants you to resonate and it says, I'll give you everything. Just please be in flow.
I
That's
think
the
it
way
was
I look at it.
something similar in my case as well. I mean, the timing was all wrong for me. It was the second cohort, and Diwali was just around the corner. My son had got married, Tale Diwali coming up, and like too many things happening around me. But when I saw the mail, I just said I should do it now. If I don't do it now, I don't know when I'll sign up again. So let me just do it. So that's how it happened.
Amazing.
Same like me. So last year, I had an opportunity to have like the session was handled by Neeraja and Sneha in office. So that time itself, I was thinking to connect with Neeraja, but I lost the connection because in LinkedIn, I sent the connection and she accepted it. But somehow, 8, 9 months, I couldn't like I was thinking in my always in my mind like to have interaction with her to build my personal brand or something like that. So at the moment when she sent that to me, like it was an invite in the LinkedIn to join in this summit last week. So immediately I joined, and that's what I when you say that this universal is somewhere it is making us to progress when we think keep on think like what I didn't do anything. I was keep on thinking in my mind that I want to become like Neeraja.
Long way
Yeah,
to go.
so the universe, the law of attraction just says
Yeah.
that, right? You ask and it is given. So
Yes.
Yes.
And
all of
I
you really, so
I
I
think
do
most
follow.
of us have similar stories, right? So for me, though, I manifested talking to Neerja. We met in a Shimantra thing. She collaborates. There was a session. So they were sending everybody into breakout rooms. So I was just thinking that if in my room Neerja is there, it would be so nice, so nice. I was just having that simple thought in my mind. And Neerja was there. That's it. So initially, Arey, is it happening really? That was my thought. Then during that conversation, Neerja told me that, okay, after the Dasara, we'll talk. You know, sorry, I'm so excited, I think. So I was not expecting actually, even after this, I was thinking, it's okay, let me call or not. It's okay, we'll see what is there because I was not sure of what I'm supposed to do. I'm so sorry. So then
Understood.
I got a message from Neerja that I'm starting this cohort. Are you ready to join? That's it. I just had no other thought. I just joined. That's it. And I'm with Neerja and I'm in a tribe and I'll continue. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, so let's put the spotlight back on Lakshmi and we'll come back to how all of you got attracted to me and we are here. So,
We
Lakshmi,
can't have
I
enough
spoke.
of that, Nirja.
So I already spoke about your beautiful post, right? One about that severe infection and high fever, which you built an analogy with demo of Agile plus AI. I mean, it was brilliant. In fact, I've shared it with so many people. I probably could have put it as one of the sample storytelling posts because in my challenge every day with the task, I also give some samples. I may have put it there, but I definitely remember having shared it with another leader who was saying, "Okay, what do you mean by stories?" And I said, "Read this. This is what I mean by stories."
Oh, wow.
How do personal stories help leaders make sense of their own experiences before they even think about an audience? Eventually, our stories have to be for the audience. I mean, we
Yeah,
can narrate it for ourselves, but it has to be for the audience. But there is always like the lost shoe as an example. How I tweaked it to something for the audience, and the audience made whatever sense of it, right?
different.
So,
Yeah.
how do these personal stories help leaders make sense of their own experiences to say, with this story, I could possibly give this message? Because on LinkedIn, we are actually calling out the message.
Yeah. Great, great question. Thanks, Nijan. Thanks for your kind words. Coming from you, who's a master storyteller, I think that's a badge of honor for me. So, uh, yeah. So, in my case, I think you probably have noticed the same thing in my podcast as well. I see patterns everywhere. So it's something that it's just everyone has a certain lens. So I keep seeing patterns everywhere. So when I was ill, and so there's always this discussion of agile and AI, and then what's happening to agile, and then this debate is just on everywhere, right? So, and in agile coaching, that comes up a lot. So that those patterns are always there, ringing in my head. So as I was going through my own illness, I immediately saw the pattern about how Agile and AI in conjunction fast tracked the whole diagnosis and administration of the medicine, and fine tuning of the medicine according to me was like running sprints. So those patterns are always there. So I think what we end up doing, I think when you think at a meta level, those patterns, you see those patterns everywhere. So it's not something forced. It just because you're so immersed in it that the patterns emerge. And there is again that urge to share that discovery of that pattern uh, with the audience. And although, yeah, we do have a target audience, but I think end of the day, it's about also it lands for the people that it's meant to be. And then the right people seem to just get it. So so that it's I think the patterns, and I love patterns. I love seeing patterns everywhere, and think at a meta level. And I find that that would be probably valuable to others who may not have seen that pattern yet.
So, would it mean that most of your writing is very spontaneous? You see something and you write, or do you even plan?
It's both. So there are times when the illness one was spontaneous, exactly the time when I was ill. And if you notice, one of the comments is from my son-in-law saying, how did you write? Because he had the report in his hand and the infection level was very high. And he was even planning hospitalization for me, and here I am writing this post. So he just couldn't get over it. But it was so compelling that it was something I had to immediately share. It was very compelling the way it was beautiful, the way AI and Agile, the process and the technology came together to help me. And I felt that's representative, whether it's personal or business, because it's humans transacting end of the day. And we are providing value to humans, from humans to humans. So that was spontaneous. But at FLR, we do have a kind of a schedule. So we do have, each partner, we share, and there's kind of a roulette, and we do it. So there are scheduled posts as well, and there are spontaneous. So it's both types. Yeah.
Sure. So, I'll continue with the storytelling piece. And this was a discussion in the cohort 5, and maybe, the previous cohorts also, some people may have felt it, right? Storytelling, largely, especially when it is personal storytelling. And we are saying that you got to be as authentic because it's your own story. So be authentic about it, and then you're sharing. And then, of course, there is a learning that you're associating for yourself and for the others. And many people confuse this authenticity with oversharing. So,
Yeah.
yesterday or day before we had a discussion. How much can you share? It's too personal for me. And in some of the stories, there are some obvious people that you talk about, even if you don't name them. I think
Yeah.
if they are part of your network, when they read the story, they will kind of know, okay, maybe she is talking about me, and all of this becomes a mindset block. Can I?
Yes.
Should I? What will happen? So the thin line between I have to be authentic, uh, but I should not overshare. So how do you decide what is authentic to share and what is meant to stay private? I know it's very individual, but is
Yes.
there anything that you kind of devised for yourself?
Yeah, great question, Nija. That's a fine line, because storytelling has to be very authentic. It's your lived experience, because it will not land otherwise. And what we want is, for those few moments when the person is immersed in your post, something touches them, and from there the transformation begins, right? So, and that is, and I know your amazing storytelling workshops, you echo the same thing. So it's a very interesting question. So the way I look at it is, the privacy concerns apart, because that's very personal, and probably someone else who had severe infection would probably have not felt so open. I tagged my attending doctors, my daughter and son-in-law. It might be too personal for someone, so that's completely individualistic. I totally understand. But overall, what I feel is that it seems to feel like oversharing if you're leaking emotions, right? So unresolved emotions leaking, and we do see people use social media to just kind of vent out or pour out. I think that is oversharing. But then the very same incident can be, you saw a pattern, you saw a learning, and you do feel compelled to share the learning, and you feel that it will be valuable to the audience, and it might resonate with them whether they've experienced it or not, or later when they experience, there is recall. So when it's learning, so when it blends into learning, then it's authentic lived experience storytelling and sharing. But if it's unresolved emotions, it's an open wound, and you're just exposing that wound, then I think it's just oversharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Brilliant point. Yeah. I know we may have been hurt by a particular policy, as an example, and you
yeah.
want to talk about it. It's okay to speak about that policy. You want to kind of bring it out to light and say, okay, people need to think about it a little differently. But do not make it so very personal that I want to talk about what I have gone through,
Yes.
and use this platform as the venting out as the right
Yeah.
word, but still have the objectivity of just wanting to talk about the issue and getting others' opinions or thoughts
Yes.
or advice around it. Because like
Yes.
today, I was telling Kanchan she's got some beautiful ideas about what kind of post she wants to write, and it's about stories of her own life. And I was giving this example that there is there's a book that 99 of us got featured on. It's called The Turning Point. All the 99 of us have had a career transition. So obviously there was a turning point in each of our lives which made us shift from our earlier careers to whatever we are doing now. And when the book was launched, most authors were invited to the book launch over Zoom because we are spread across the globe. and each of us was invited to share a bit about the turning point or whatever we wanted to. And there was this one author, she wanted to talk about the fact that the turning point was her difficult pregnancy. Okay. However, all the time that she got, and she took more time to only speak about the difficult pregnancy. And I'm saying that's not what you want to tell the whole world. You are talking about the turning point. So you make
Yeah.
a mention of the difficult pregnancy,
Yes.
whatever you're going through, then talk about how that helped you kind of change into
Yeah.
something else. Then it lands. Otherwise,
Yeah.
people are going to just switch off, not read the post, or give you all kinds of comments about,
Yes.
unless there is someone else going through the same difficult pregnancy in this case. Then maybe you have some, empathy, and people may kind of continue to be with you on the post. So, good point.
Correct.
I know there will be more questions around storytelling because that's something which we are currently on. Our current tasks are around storytelling. I will give everyone else a
Yeah.
chance to ask their questions after a couple of more that I have here. Uh, cannot not talk about AI. So
Yes.
let me bring that question here. So with AI, of course, we have everything done for us. We can
Mm.
actually make use of AI and get everything ready made. Also, see, maybe in the past, since we didn't have these fancy tools, we knew it was very authentic, our own writing. I don't even know Grammarly when it came into being. Some of us use Grammarly to just get our grammar in order or the words in order. But largely, you could still know that this was very authentic writing. This person's English and vocabulary is this, and that's what is coming out. But today, there is a pressure to sound very bold, certain, confident, because you have all these tools around us, and everybody goes to AI, right? To
Yeah.
get everything, including their content for LinkedIn. So, a couple of questions. What do you think about AI generated content in terms of building one's personal brand? And the second question is, how can someone still write honestly, even if they're still learning and evolving? And when I say learning and evolving, it could be in terms of their own brand and subject matter expertise, because many of us want to showcase the brand that we want to become. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm thinking of changing my gear, and hence I'm wanting to start putting out content on LinkedIn. So hence I'm not yet fully, sound on this subject, or I'm still nascent in terms of my writing. So how do I still write honest content? These are the two questions.
Yeah. So, firstly, again, my view on AI, right? So, I think in recent podcast, I said, and people liked the term. I said, let's not call it artificial intelligence; it's collective intelligence. So, I would like to use that, the tool or the technology as an enabler. So, if I say that I'm a voice of the universe, and I'm a unique voice. If AI is a tool that just fine tunes it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's again a collective manifestation. All of us humans said, no one person is smarter than everyone, and we are only smart together. That manifested as AI because there's so much of knowledge in there. So it's again about the perspective about how do you use AI. So AI cannot replace your voice. That's an absolute no-no. And if you force fit AI and make you yourself look like somebody you're not, that'll come through. But then again, if you're very, very centered and you believe you have a certain worldview, you have your lived experiences, you have your stories, and that is you. And then you do use the tool to embellish without guilt because you're using it to embellish and it has emerged as an enabler, and to not use it is also wrong. That is also not natural. It's been a collective manifestation of the human community, and so let's use it. But there's a fine line. It's not a replacement. It's not meant to generate content. Absolute no no. Because then again, it won't land. It'll be very clear. Anything that's completely auto generated, flawless English and all that, but it won't land. So, again, it's the whole voice of the universe concept. No force fitting, no forced kind of forced urgent branding, and trying to that false confidence. No, I think each one is a unique, beautiful voice of the universe. If we can let it flow, if we can let it resonate, it's meant to be out there and it will land. So that is the first part. And I think the second one also is kind of related, about the learning journey. I think that is again extremely beautiful. I see people sharing their baby steps, and that's beautiful, because there are others who haven't even started on the journey, and they love to see, rather than someone out there, they love to see someone who's just a few steps ahead of you, and it'll land for those people. So I don't think people need to wait till they're done, or there is this target brand that they're building. I don't think so. As long as the approach is about being authentic, it's not about the magnitude of what you achieved. Even the smallest little win of the day, as a beginner, when it is narrated with that authentic voice, it lands beautifully. I've seen some posts like that, and people just seem to love it, because I think it kind of lit a spark in someone's day, where some people were out of reach, but people who are on the way, uh, sometimes that can be more encouraging for people. So I don't think anyone needs to stop till they're fully ready or something.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we are never fully ready. We are always a
Yeah,
work in
yeah.
progress.
Actually, even the people that we think have arrived are still on a journey. The journey is is the goal. Actually, there's no goal. So
But
yeah.
today I saw a post from one of the Shimantras. Shimantra is another community of women solopreneurs, and Sirisha is from there. Ramya from our group, she wrote today, a very simple post she wrote. Today is January 12th, so 12th day of the year. However, I chose to show up today and not on the first 11 days of the year. And I'm not looking at algorithms. I'm just kind of remembering her post. I'm not looking at algorithms, time of the day, or whatever. I just decided to show up. And I thought, wow, that is beautiful, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And these just land. They just resonate so well, uh, because it just comes. And again, I think that's, again, I keep going back to my personal philosophy about, when you're in resonance uh, with who you're meant to be, it's not about exactly what you have achieved, what you're writing. That resonance is the beauty, and people see it and they rejoice in it.
And that's also what makes it viral beyond algorithms.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Great. Okay. So next question is about staying consistent, right? I mean, we got to be consistent with sharing, and each of us has our own schedules or the number of posts per week or per month.
Yeah.
But staying consistent, like I don't have a timetable and a calendar. I write when I feel like, what I feel like. Uh, but I know I show up at least twice, if not more, every week, right? So that consistency of sharing without getting burnt out, without worrying about the time of the day and will this work for my algorithm or it will work for the trends. How do you stay consistent?
Yes. So I think, all said and done, discipline is important, right? Doesn't matter what your endeavor is. There is that humility about, yes, there is a certain cadence, and I will kind of submit to it, right? So that is important. But that said, I think burnout, that is an important topic. But burnout, I think, will happen when it's something forced. I'm not talking of the cadence of writing, the frequency, but if you end up forcing yourself, and trying to be what you're not, trying to project a persona that's not you, just because AI, you mention any kind of story or person, it'll generate flawlessly, but then it's going to wear you out. But when you're in flow, I find that it's very enriching. One thing for the audience, but the process itself is, it's very therapeutic when you share. So you are richer every time. You learn something more. And in processing that, there is some part of you that gets unlocked, and you expand. It's expansive. So every post, I find that I get out of my Johari window a little bit more. So it's a very rejuvenating exercise. And but if you're not aligned, then the rigor of those posts and all that will wear you out, and that will create burnout. And then there is anxiety about what's the response, how many impressions, what are the comments, uh, and it's completely performative. Then that can cause burnout. And what we are looking at is a marathon, not a short sprint. So it's okay, some posts will do phenomenally well, some are okay, but in some cases I find that even when some of the responses are low, I find that there's a few comments that are very deep, and then they'll DM me, and then we end up with a 1 hour conversation after that. So you never know how it lands. And I think if we have that kind of a resonant mindset, but of course some discipline about posting, but if it is in flow and its resonance in every story that you share is also giving back to you, expanding your mindset, unlocking something that was hidden, and you grow internally, you see growth in yourself post to post. So then there is no then I think that is when writing will actually be therapy and expansive and not cause burnout.
Absolutely. Agree to that. I mean, that's why I always say we are never talking about algorithms.
Yes,
My challenge is not about algorithms. I
yes,
don't know the algorithms,
i
so
i, I
I
saw
do
that.
get
Yeah.
zero about algorithms.
Yes.
In fact, I used to, write my post at midnight. Yeah, I'm a late night owl because that was the time after finishing everything. I'll say, okay, let me write this post today.
Yes.
And I didn't know about the scheduling option on LinkedIn till Gopal Iyer came to, one of our cohorts, and he addressed our audiences. He said, "Don't write it
Yes.
midnight. Who's reading it?" So schedule it for 8 o'clock in the morning, even if you're writing at midnight. So that was one change that I have made.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I don't know whether it works at 8, it works at 9, it works at 4. I never have looked at any engagement on any of my posts. Maybe some of them don't even cross 100,000 impressions, and 1,000 is, for some of us, it's good when we are starting. So for some of us who've been in the space, we may not think 1,000 is good enough. But as you
Yeah.
said, if I put out a post about an event where I'm speaking and one person comes back and says, I have registered and attended and it made something different for me, I think the post has done its job. So keep at that, that the impact
Yeah.
is not about impressions, likes, and, who says what
Yes.
about the
Yes.
content, but it is actually what is the learning that you want everyone else to take.
Yes.
And there will
Absolutely.
be, and as Lakshmi said, there'll be some people who won't be engaging with your post. They won't like, they won't comment, but they're very, very quiet readers, and they look forward to your post. And suddenly you'll meet them somewhere and they say, I love your content. And I say,
Yes.
you never once liked my content. But yeah. So keep at it. That's all
Yeah.
there is. Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last question from me before I open it up for the audience. If you had one mindset shift advice to give to all of us today, something that would help them write more freely, show up more authentically, even after the challenges ended. And for some of them, the challenges ended from the 14 days, but they're still kind of continuing on their journey. What would that one advice
Yeah, great question. And I think I started with that itself, right? About it's not even your own. It's a voice of the universe. Your self-expression is a voice of the universe. And if you can resonate with that and you can remain in that identity, and then you be in flow, right? And writing is just an outcome of that, right? Writing is not the goal, actually. It's a byproduct, and it's the most natural. And every single person has beautiful, completely unique life experiences, learnings. It's a beautifully unique collage and art, right? Each of our lives. And like I said, it's not about oversharing or leaking, because when it comes to those kind of unresolved personal issues, there's a different forum, private forum. You go to a coach or a counselor, or that is not what these public forums are meant for, right? So that aside, I think we covered that. So now that that is covered, all the pain, the growth that you went through, the life experiences are also assets of the universe that you have been invested with and asked to set forth and share, right? So if you can always see it as a beautiful universal flow, and see the writing as just a byproduct of that lived experience, which concludes in self expression, because it belongs to the world and you have been chosen, you have been vested with that responsibility. So that is the, that's the single paradigm that kind of uh, guides me. So I hope everyone finds that useful. uh,
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very different way to put it forth, right? Like I started the challenge saying, why is it that people sit in my personal branding class and then they don't go and write on LinkedIn? What is it that I can do? And I said, I'll do a mindset shift challenge. There are many, many people who are running challenges and programs on writing on LinkedIn. But I said, no, I'm not doing writing on LinkedIn because I'm not the subject matter expert. You all are the subject matter experts.
yeah,
So you know how to kind of put it out there. But what I can help you with is the mindset shift. So let me do it that way. So that's how I put it across. I think Lakshmi put it very beautifully to say that you are chosen. You have had a life and you've had these experiences, and hence these are yours. Nobody
yes,
else has had them. So you have been chosen to share those experiences.
yes,
And LinkedIn happens to be one medium. You could have other medium. You could
yes,
have medium, that platform to write. You could have
medium
medium
itself.
to write, or you could have a stage to speak at, or you could have a one-on-one conversation, whichever way, right? So that
Yes.
is very beautiful. Thank you. Let me now open it up for others to ask questions. You can unmute and ask, or you can put it on the chat, and I will look at the chat and ask, if there is already a question. But please go ahead. You can unmute, and now it's time for everyone. There was one, I think, from Kanchan, but I think we answered it in some ways, Kanchan. Between me and Lakshmi, I mean, do you have, or have you been told, is there a best time to post on LinkedIn? Friday evening, weekend, Monday morning? I don't know the answer because I don't follow that. But Lakshmi, any response to that question or
Yeah,
something?
I know the our partners at Effilor Consulting, and I think not to sound biased, but I think I find men being, because they're all men, so I find them very, very tuned in. Maybe it is a gender thing. They go more by that. They say, okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, and Friday the engagement is low, and then it should be in the morning. And so, if you look at the planned posts from our partners, we always do that, and then we rotate, and nobody wants to do Monday, Friday. But
Okay, all right.
personally, no, I just don't. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think really that it matters.
Yeah,
Frankly,
it really doesn't matter,
yeah,
Kanchan, and to the others. As I said, you are putting it out. The people who have to read it will read it, regardless of what time. There are some posts that you would have put 3 months ago, and suddenly you will see engagement coming, because one person got hold of that post and commented, and then the rest of the, followers are now suddenly, engaging with that post, which you wrote 3 months ago. So I
yeah,
don't think, there is anything to do with timing. I also, give this advice. There are people who will write the post and then they will share it on their WhatsApp groups, and we have allowed that to be shared on our cohort groups because that's why the cohort groups exist, including the Voices of Change. WhatsApp group is existing for sharing your LinkedIn post because this is all about LinkedIn. However, beyond that, if you're sitting on 20 groups, just sharing your post on the 20 groups is not going to help you. This is my
yeah,
belief because maybe the first time you shared, they will click and read it. But every
yeah,
day, every post of yours, if you're going to put it on the same 20 groups, people are going to stop opening it, right?
Yes.
So LinkedIn, it's about, that's promotion. So there was also a question, I think, in one of the podcasts, somebody asked about promotion. That is promotion. When you're actually taking the link of the post and putting it on 20 groups or on your WhatsApp status or whatever, then you're trying to promote your post.
Yes.
However, if you have actually written it and left it, but use some of those features, the hashtags and the people tags, because then it will automatically find its way to people.
Yes.
That's the answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Really
Yeah.
well said. Yeah.
Any other questions? I think there are some more
Yeah,
on
I
chat. Is
just
it? Okay.
have. Can you hear me, Nirja?
Yes, Vinaya. Yeah, go
Can you?
ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hi, Lakshmi.
Hi, Vinay.
I particularly liked your analogy on universe. The first time I've ever heard, kind of explaining or rather connecting to that. Not heard of that before, but it's a beautiful one. Thanks for sharing that. One of the things I always wonder is um, how much to write. Is brevity to be practiced, right? Sometimes I read posts, they're so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's a dialogue. She said, I said, he said, and then there's a summary, and then there is probably it is needed, but if I look it on my mobile, I just want to scroll and finish it. I don't want to
Yes.
like keep scrolling and doing it, right? But
Yes.
there's some stories have to be this thing. But generally, what's in your opinion, you think is the right size where it can capture attention, pass the message, and do its job that it has to do.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's a great. Firstly, I'm really glad that the universe concept resonated with you. I'm really happy to hear that. And yeah, the length of the post, right? Uh, I think let's be very realistic. It's usually on the devices that people read. It's very clear if they open their app and then they'll read there. So if it's extremely long and they have to keep scrolling, you'll lose them. So there is a LinkedIn imposed limit, and I try to be well within that, much shorter, and most of the time try to make sure that it's easy to read on the device, because we don't want to lose people who actually even started reading but dropped off because it's too long, because that's not what the post is meant to be. If you have something so long to share, then write a newsletter, a long newsletter, share it with your target audience or whatever, right? So the post has a very specific purpose. It's something small, it's something very deeply impactful. And that is the reason this challenge, right? Neerja's amazing challenge. It's about the impact you create in that brevity, the high signal, right? So it has to be high signal, low noise, and so you can't afford a very long post. So well within the LinkedIn imposed limit. Don't even go close to that. And yes, device, let's be realistic, people on the go will read your post on the app, and you want high signal, high impact in that little space.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. So, Vinaya, and to the others who are probably not writing as enough, you will find your style over a period of time.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some people who can write 4 lines and create impact. Some people need 10 lines. So you will kind of get to that style once you've been
Yeah.
doing some
Correct.
work. I am a long, if you read my posts, they're long. My posts are long. But I think there are people who enjoy my posts. I cannot write. I think it's a feedback from my office. Basically, तुम छोटा email करो. I could never write a shorter email. I've been like that. But I see some content. Parallel will come to you. I don't know if people follow Ranjini Mani. She's the AI leader at Microsoft. She writes amazing content, and in such, she wouldn't have used all her LinkedIn space. But the point is so beautifully put across. So it's her style. Okay, so each
Yeah.
of us will figure out a style. So to start with, don't worry. Don't worry. I have to keep it to 10 lines or 20 lines. What is coming right? Please start writing. And then over a period of time, you can refine to say, I think it was wrong, some feedback came, or I want to make it shorter. Do I change my writing style? To start with, let's just start that. Right? Parul, can I take one chat question and then I'll come to you because some questions have come
Sure.
on chat. Chetana is saying, what if you feel that the brand which you wanted to set while you started gradually shifted to some other brand because you started liking and responding to other posts? Lakshmi, you want to take that?
So, yeah, what do you mean by brand? Whose question was that?
That was Chetna. Chetna, do you want to unmute and ask or give more clarity here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, Neeraja. Yeah, hi, Lakshmi. So
yeah,
what
I
I
do.
meant was, I started off posting initially, keeping in mind that I would want to probably incline towards my role and bring in more strategic post, which would have more benefit to my current roles and probably the more aspirated role, right? So, however, when I looked at the post being generated and my connections, I started liking something on the leadership, something on psychological safety, something on parenting, teaching, all of these. So I kind of deviated from my current goal, and it turned out to be something else. So if such a situation happens, what do you generally do in order to take a pause, or probably think and come back to your original brand, or it's okay to continue with whatever new brand you've recognized during the journey?
Yeah, that is a natural evolution, Chetna, and that's what I was saying about, my own Johari window. What's hidden gets unlocked, and whatever is natural and organic, the way you're evolving, I think that is beautiful. I don't think you should force fit because
Mm-hmm.
what happens is you'll find that there's a beautiful, unique persona of you, which you may call brand, but I call it persona, which emerges. And it doesn't mean that you're letting go of probably your engineering management leadership persona,
Right.
but none of us is just one, right? So I'm
Right.
primarily an agile coach, but then I do write about other aspects about generally leadership. And now I really admire Neerja's work, the LinkedIn LWMC. That is not agile, but I'm very invested in it because
Mm-hmm.
that is a part of my persona. I think
Okay.
that anything that the guideline is anything you find flow in, you are meant to do that. And it doesn't mean that it eliminates anything else. Each
Mm-hmm.
one of us is a combination of many different talents. And I think all of them will come through in LinkedIn, and that's completely fine.
Okay.
I don't think you should just, kind of diminish
Mm-hmm.
anything that's coming very naturally and growing. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, all of them can sustain and grow. And
Okay.
that is unique. That is Chetna. That's what she brings to the table,
Yeah.
right? And that's beautiful. And I think you don't have to be apologetic about those. I won't call it a deviation. The transitions.
Transitions. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
makes sense.
I talk of agile AI, and then but then I am also invested, like I said, right, about storytelling. I wrote one post about just how brilliant a storyteller Nija is. That had nothing to do with agile,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm completely I love doing that. I just had to share,
Mm.
and I just enjoyed the experience. So yeah,
It
as
doesn't
long as
matter.
it brings value to the audience
Mm-hmm.
and you find that your experiences are enriching
Yeah.
the audience, all these paths are completely okay. That's what I feel. I don't think you need to undermine anything, any of your pursuits.
Yeah. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Yeah, so if you like something, please go ahead and encourage that person and by
Yes.
putting comments and resharing, reposting,
Yeah.
even if it is not aligned to your own brand. But again, if you remember from our brand discussion, we are allowed to have two or three interests. When I say allowed, I
Yeah.
mean as a human being, we have 20 and 100 interests. But from a projection perspective, so that people are not very confused and they know what to reach out to you for, two or three of those can definitely come out on LinkedIn, so that they always know that if there is a, why did I reach out to Lakshmi? right? So, as an example, how am I picking up the experts? That is something which is coming to my mind because I'm seeing these people on LinkedIn and they're talking about a few things which I feel is relevant to our audience. So that recall has to be there. So don't dilute that every day I'm writing something totally different. So your own original post can be about two, three things, and there could be a one-off. I enjoyed this, so let me write about it, can be there. But in terms of engaging with others' posts, there is no restriction because you need to build a diverse network. And how do you do that? And how do people, the diverse network gets to know about you? It's only when you start engaging with others' posts who are writing about anything else, but you feel, you know, compelled to engage with it. So please go ahead and do that.
Yeah, because that is self-expression as well. And if you kind of mute it, it can actually slightly dilute the original core competency, the way you're expressing. It can actually slightly dilute it. Whereas if you diversify a little, that's my view. Nija, you can correct me, but if you
Yeah, yeah.
diversify those other side bands, they actually end up making you communicate better even in your core competency, and people see a little blended persona. They'll still recall you for the primary brand that you represent, but then you get stronger in your expression because diversity makes you a little versatile. That's why muting it, when you have that urge, muting it kind of can dampen your creativity.
Yes, that's right.
Arun, go for it.
Thank you. So I have to say, as for like for many of us, for me also, there have been quite a number of moments, and I've taken a lot of notes from the session so far. So thank you for that. My question is regarding the content itself. So, for example, I want to write a lot in the AI space because I spent a lot of time in the last 1.5, 2 years learning a lot about the space. I'm extremely passionate, and many of us are for that matter. Right. So the journey also for a lot of us is similar. Plus, there are experts out there, of course, who are at the next level, have been data scientists and others for many, many years. So when I consider writing on this topic, there are times when I have something unique to share, and then there is absolutely no hesitation. I can go ahead and share. And those could be actually long posts because I've spent a lot of time arriving at that state. However, there are times where I have learned something which maybe everybody else already has gone through or is very basic or is known on LinkedIn already, like largely. So what do I do in those situations where I feel like this word has been spoken about enough already? What is it that new that I can create here, which people may want to learn or hear about? Especially when my new discoveries in this space are limited. They will get. I'll get there, but it's a process. So I would say I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, great question, Paul. So, again, there is no limiting factor, right? So, when you feel the urge to share, right, that means it's meant. There are people out there who need that information, and they need it to be narrated in Parul style. There's so
Okay.
many others writing, but they need it in Parul's voice. So don't
Okay.
hold back at all. There's no limiting factors. Oh, the people have talked about this enough. No, there is still an audience for whom it will land only with your post.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the reason you're there. That is the reason you would like to share. And even if it has been said any number of times, you will bring out, and I'm very sure with Nija's guidance, you will bring out your unique flavor. There is this unique narrative that you have, a unique flavor, and the whole unique perspective, or about your own original ideas about what is the application, how did you learn, with exactly the same concept. you are going to bring something else to the table, and that will land for the people that it's meant for. So
Got it.
no limiting factors, no second thoughts.
That's good to know. Thank you.
So it's like this, Parul, if I may give this example, uh, there are so many of us who have done the similar graduation, post graduation, and then we apply for a job. Do we think there are going to be thousand other candidates? So should I even apply? No, we feel we are the best for it, right? And we do apply, and then we show up in our best way, in our own way, and then we get selected for something. And it's exactly that, right? So just keep that in mind. You came to this cohort, you could have probably gone to many other LinkedIn writing, coaches, for
Yes,
example,
yes,
but then you came here.
yes,
Similarly, for something else, you may go somewhere else, right? So that's why the why and the who is most important. Your why
yes,
and your who.
yes,
There is an audience
yes, absolutely,
there. Okay. So we are
absolutely.
at 8, and I've blocked everyone's time at 8, and I do see people are, leaving because I'm sure it's dinner time or whatever. I know there are some more questions. I don't know if Lakshmi can stay back. Otherwise, I can definitely stay back and take some of those
Yeah,
questions.
sure.
I want to take a group picture. If those of you who can come on video, I want to take a picture because we'll at some point in time put it out on LinkedIn also.
Okay.
So can we all come on video? Because you don't want a black box there. Yeah, okay, all right. So I'm trying to click, and if somebody else wants to click, please click because we can have better cameras clicking. Okay, I have done one screen, and I'll do the second screen. So I've got the pictures. I know those of you who have to step out, please. We probably stay on for another 10 minutes and take whatever other questions that we can. Otherwise, of course, the WhatsApp group is there. Lakshmi is part of our community. So, we can always reach out. You can reach out to her on LinkedIn and, also ask your questions. So let me look at chat. There are some questions on chat. Uh, Marikani, can you please explain and some examples to find patterns and relate for storytelling? Is that a quick answer that you can give, Lakshmi?
Yeah, I saw that come up in chat already. So, Marikani, I think the looking for patterns is something I just personally I do, I don't know if that's something that you need to impose on yourself.
Actually, I am
So,
also trying that. Say, I also tried it because
ah,
I started to write to. a- Actually, joined cohort because I wanted to write something else new other than work achievements. That was
oh,
my first target because I always post. I got this certificate. I got this award. That I look. So it's boring. So
yes.
I thought lot people writing a lot many things in LinkedIn, and I couldn't write it. It is not because I don't know. It's because of something in my mind. So I realized it, and I started to find some pattern, as you mentioned, pattern. Because
Mm,
when I do something at home, as in one of the submit also, they told like when we do something, we need to relate to that our real time. Like activities can be summarized to write a story of our own. As Neeraja told, that we have to find our own way to write it. I'm also doing that exercise in my mind, like even in sleep also, in the dream also, it's coming. It's coming.
that's amazing.
Yeah, yesterday also I got one dream. So what I'm trying to make here, when when you told about pattern, it just catched me, because
Oh, okay.
the same thing I'm also trying, but I couldn't. I don't know. I'm not able to navigate to that. I couldn't connect the dots. I
Mm.
I struggle. The reason, because I don't know. I don't know how to connect it. So when you say pattern, what do you mean exactly? So how do you connect? How do you connect with your story?
Yeah, great question. So, Manikani, when I said pattern, right? So, what I do is now that I'm an agile coach, and now with AI coming in, everything has to change. Agile itself has to change. And so, I constantly keep looking at, agile patterns in life. because agile it's not only for software development, right?
Yeah.
You end up seeing that kind of the whole agile kind of incremental approach to achieving anything. You end up seeing it everywhere. And
Got
now
it.
you realize you need that approach, you need everywhere in
Mm.
life, in
I got it now.
everything, in cooking also.
Yeah, yeah.
Everywhere. You can't do it all at once. You'll have to, it is sprint planning. You have to do it incrementally. Then you have a MVP, minimum viable
Mm.
product, and right. So if you have a very elaborate menu, without knowing, you'll do it in an agile way. So having so much of experience in agile, now everywhere I see agile.
Yes.
So when I fell ill, then and now there is AI. So if you have read that post, what I noticed is, since my daughter and son-in-law were away, I didn't want to approach other doctors. That'll upset them. So otherwise, it's easy. I can call for lab tests. I can just um, get an online consult. But I waited, and so, while I was waiting, I was chatting, and they say don't Google doctor or AI doctor. But no, what I did is I gave my symptoms, I discussed. So by the time they became available, I could very quickly
Connect.
mention correctly. So very quickly, my son-in-law could zero in, immediately order lab test. But after that, the medication again had to be, agile way to check if that suited me. And then he had
Okay.
to change the dosages. So then I saw, okay, I used AI and then I used agile.
Retro kind of stuff.
Yeah, so
Retrospective.
immediately I saw the pattern of AI and agile. So
Okay.
because and then everywhere in life I see, and then when you look at AI, I look at it as humans love to share. And that's what we are discussing even now.
Mm.
And that urge to share manifested as technology. Because now in AI, you can use the English expertise of experts, you can use psychology, all the expertise sitting all over the world is at your fingertips now. So it's meant to enable you and take you forward. So we love to improve each other. We have that urge.
Okay.
So I always look at some of these patterns, and then
Understood.
everywhere the same patterns come. So you also will have
Yes.
certain
Okay.
beliefs in life.
Mm-hmm.
What you have to do is now unblock yourself, open up, and start seeing everything with that lens. And then you'll start seeing that pattern everywhere and you'll want to share. It's
Because
not
that,
about, like Nija also says, it's
yeah,
not about
one
what to write,
question which,
but I can't wait to share, like
yeah,
what Nija has said.
I got it. Because the reason I am sorry to interrupt you, because the one question when Neeraja asked in one of the tasks is, when I think of you, what should that be? Like, for what I should reach Marikani, or
Ah,
for what is the why purpose? Like, I am working on that. So it is actually really a mental stuff, which is a lot
yes.
of homework. It's needed to
Yes,
do that
it's a
stuff.
mindset shift, like
Yeah,
absolutely what Neerja is saying. It's writing is
yeah,
just a byproduct. It's about how you think of yourself
yeah,
and what is your why. Exactly, what is your why? And when I said the universe wants to speak through us, actually that's the why.
yeah,
That's
got
your
it.
why and that's the purpose.
Sure. Thanks.
And once you get in touch with that, it'll just flow.
Thank you so much.
Great.
I'll take
Thanks.
last two
Great question.
questions. So one is Avinash has asked, should we impose any limit to the length of the post? Some technical posts can take long space. Is this recommended? We did discuss about the length of the post. Lakshmi mentioned that because most of the time people are looking at LinkedIn on the
Oh,
phone and not necessarily on the laptop. So you're scrolling, and hence your attention span will be probably one scroll or more than one scroll. I don't know. So try and keep it, and that comes with practice. However, you can use the entire space of LinkedIn. I
yeah,
don't think the algorithm works based on how many characters you've written. I
mm,
don't think so.
I don't think.
But if your content is really compelling enough, you will sit and read the whole thing. Like people have told me sometimes I will given 1 hour, 90 minutes of a talk, and when they started, they would have thought, okay, I'll stay 30 minutes and go. But people have said, I stayed the entire 90 minutes and I couldn't believe 90 minutes was over, right? So if you have compelling content, people will still stay.
Yes, yes.
So that's what I would try to tell about
Yeah,
this. But we
definitely,
move,
definitely.
yeah. But we move to Sangavi. She says she has role transition from QA to product management. She's currently looking at building a brand in product management. I have more stories from my prior role. I'm finding it hard to think of product management related stories post, especially because I'm new to this role. It's about 1.5 years as a product manager. Should I let it happen naturally and not force create PM related posts? I'm hoping to be able to post about a new PM journey role transitions. Next.
Yeah, great question. Who was that? Whose question? Sangavi.
Yeah, Sangavi, yes. Hi,
Oh,
Lakshmi.
Sangavi. Yeah, yeah. I can totally relate to that because I have been in QA for the largest part of my life and then just used Agile, and then now Agile coach is my dominant. Um, I think that's my brand now. So I completely understand. And when you're building an identity as a PM, if you constantly are talking of QA, it will create a QA brand. I think Nija probably has guided you about that already. Uh, However, having been in QA long enough, I completely can I can imagine how all your QA experiences will directly be valuable for your PM persona, and maybe that is the reason you made that easy transition.
Right.
So when you narrate, you will have to slightly package your QA experiences and present them as PM learnings. And that's not a force fit because having been in QA, I completely know that QA experiences are highly valuable for a product manager. So you should not lose out on your QA experiences, but you need to slightly alter them in a way that they strengthen your PM persona. Because otherwise, if the minute people see the word QA, you'll just be branded as QA, which is not what you want.
Right.
But your stories are important, your learnings are important. And
I
that
think
I don't think you should lose. It's possible.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
We
the
can
core
discuss
essence
offline
of
as well.
using lessons learned from all my earlier stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Maybe we can talk offline with some very specific QA examples because I've been in QA for a very long time. So we can even take specific QA examples and maybe discuss the story, how it can map into the PM persona.
That will be really helpful. Thank you,
Yeah,
Lakshmi. I'll reach out.
great, great. Sure, sure.
Thank you
Thanks.
for that. And Kanchan, you have the honor of the last question for the day. So go for it.
A long time. Thank you. It was a fabulous session. And my question is like it's not related to a content or anything, but so I've started putting my content and becoming more active on LinkedIn for past couple of months only, not before that. And ever since I've joined this cohort, because as a task we get regular tasks to keep posting, reposting. So I've been more consistent now, like almost daily writing and everything. So I've noticed like I'm getting more anxious on like my post is getting an engagement or not, people are liking it or not. So thousand times I'm just opening LinkedIn and checking. So just wanted to have a perspective. Does it ever settle down this anxiety, or everybody has that, or is it just me because it is a new phase? Like
Yeah, yeah.
Before Lakshmi, I'm going to ask Soumya.
yeah.
Soumya is a seasoned challenger now. Okay, after 3, 4 cohorts, she's a seasoned challenger. So just for her to narrate and then Lakshmi will answer.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
Soumya.
yeah, because I completely resonate. That's why when you're talking, I'm just like nodding. I think that's when Neerja is unmuted. Because I asked the same question, I think, in the last time in the session. When Jarmina has come, I asked the same question to her because I moved away from all this like social media, FB and all. I used to be a little active, but then what used to happen is like whenever I post, I'll be so anxious and to check how many likes I got, who is engaging and all that. So I moved away completely from that. And when I started this LinkedIn journey, I became consistent in writing. But what I observed in myself was more than writing, I used to check. I'll just post every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. I used to check, even without me realizing. And after a point, I felt that anxiety. Oh my God, what am I doing? Where am I heading to? But then it is an initial moment, I think, because you're overwhelmed and you want to see how people are reacting about it. That is absolutely fine. But now I've slowly moved away from it. Yeah, that's why I was like excited when you were asking that question.
Yeah,
Normal.
and Soumya, your posts are great. I look forward to them.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so much. And
love
really
them.
great to hear from you today because I met you with storytelling session and I
Yes.
love your energy and meeting you in this way again in LinkedIn, this group and challenge is like great.
Yeah, we'll keep meeting
I'm
because
so inspired.
We are Neerja's tribe. We'll keep meeting.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, please over to you, Lakshmi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything you want to
so
add?
yeah, so Kanchan, it is natural initially that you will keep checking, but it's after some time it'll level off because you'll start getting in the flow of the writing itself. Like I said, every post I find myself learning something new. So then it turns inward, and you just find the deep inner satisfaction of learning something new and sharing. And so the actual number of responses and all that starts to matter less, but how you're resonating so well, how you're enjoying the writing process, and how your persona is coming through, right? So each of us, we call it persona, we call it brand, how that is expanding. And that growth journey is so beautiful that you'll stop worrying about that. That is the next level of detail. You'll slightly stop worrying about that. And what will also happen is gradually you'll have this, you'll start finding this community that start resonating with you. So you start enjoying that shared energy, right? So it goes to a next level. Initially, you may be anxious, you keep checking, but if you follow this, I was at the summit, so I can see that it's a beautiful transformation experience. Nisha is very clear. It's a mindset shift, right? So when that includes this whole self-referential growth, it's built in the way Ninja is organizing it. It's built in. It's more about you getting in touch with yourself and learning more about yourself. So that anxiety will reduce and should reduce, because if it's completely performative and there is anxiety, then that is what actually causes burnout and people calling social media toxic. And some of my friends they've got off LinkedIn also because they find LinkedIn also very toxic, right? How can a platform that is so nurturing and helping for us, a forum for us to learn, share, and enrich each other, be so toxic for someone else? Because they're looking at the wrong parameters, right? So you can look at the same thing as something very toxic, creating burnout, and very wearing you down, undermining. But if you look at it from a completely different perspective, and if you look, it's about outside in versus inside out, I call it, right? So if you constantly look at the performative metrics outside in, then it will cause anxiety and burnout. But when you find yourself growing post by post, then it's very, very enriching. And there will be engagement, the right kind of engagement, and you will actually find your community and start sharing and enjoying that process. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. And I think why this anxiety is also because we are looking for a validation through the
Yes,
likes and everything
yes,
that,
yes,
oh, people are looking.
absolutely. Well said, well said. Yes, external validation. That is always, that can get toxic. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kanchan, for asking that question, which I'm sure many people would have had in their mind.
Yes.
I'm sure, even I may go to some of my posts and see, oh, I've written brilliantly, and that post would have had 5 likes.
Yeah,
I think, what did I
that
do
is
wrong? Sometimes you get really different kind of feedback. I said, one of the posts that I wrote about the summit was about announcing the speakers. The idea was, here are the speakers, come join. And I had responses saying, I want to be a speaker. And I said, what about my post gave them the idea that they can actually apply to be a speaker in the summit? And I went back and looked at that post many times. So, as you say, you have an intention. The audience really looks at it very differently
yeah,
sometimes. But you put your thought process out there, leave it for the rest of them to take it the way
yes,
they want to take it.
yes.
With that, I should stay close to this, otherwise we can be here whole night, and
Oh
this is
yeah,
not
yeah.
the
We can
best
keep
discussion.
this is a soul community. We can just go on and on.
Yeah, you know how you can access Lakshmi. She's on our community. You're available through LinkedIn. She has kindly offered to have conversations if you wish to. So I hope this has helped many of you with questions that have been burning beyond what I've been trying to help out with. But there'll always be questions, and welcome to kind of ask those questions in whichever way. If some of your questions didn't get answered today because of paucity of time, please feel free to ask me on the group or ask Lakshmi. We are here to, kind of help you all. With that, thank you, Lakshmi. A pleasure to have had the opportunity to host you at Newspires, and we'll do more together in the coming days.
Great, great. Thanks a lot. Happy writing, everyone, and honored to be part of Newspires. Look forward to more engagement. All the
See
best.
you
Thank
all.
you.
Good
Thank you so
night.
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.